It was April 2009. A large American cargo ship called MV Maersk Alabama was sailing near the coast of Somalia. The ship was carrying food, vegetable oil, and humanitarian relief supplies from Salalah, Oman to Mombasa, Kenya. To reach its destination, it had to pass along the Somali coast. While moving through those waters, something unusual appeared on the horizon. A small boat carrying 4 young Somali pirates. They sped directly toward the cargo ship. In just minutes, the pirates had taken control of the entire vessel. It was the first time in nearly 200 years that an American cargo ship had been hijacked. The pirates captured the ship's captain, Richard Phillips, and held him hostage. The crew realized they had to act quickly. They secretly captured one of the pirates and offered a deal: "Release our captain and we will release your pirate." After tense negotiations, the pirates agreed. They decided to leave in a lifeboat. But there was a problem. The pirates didn't know how to operate it. Captain Phillips stepped into the lifeboat to help them. At that moment, the lifeboat was released into the ocean. Suddenly, Captain Phillips found himself drifting at sea, trapped in a small lifeboat with armed pirates. For the next 4 days, the entire world watched the drama unfold. During the standoff, one of the pirates looked at Captain Phillips and said a line that would later become famous around the world: "Look at me, I'm the captain now." Soon help arrived. The US Navy destroyer USS Bainbridge DDG-96 rushed to the scene. On board were elite snipers from the United States Navy SEALs. They waited patiently for the perfect moment. Then, in a split second, 3 precise shots were fired. The pirates were eliminated, and Captain Phillips was finally rescued. The world celebrated the dramatic rescue, but the incident raised an important question: how did Somalia become the world's most dangerous piracy hub? To understand that, we need to go back to 1991. That year, Somalia collapsed after a brutal civil war destroyed the government. There was no president, no police, and no army. There were no rules. Somalia had effectively become a leaderless nation, where warlords and militias fought for control. But while the world focused on the chaos on land, something important was overlooked: Somalia's coastline. Stretching more than 3,300 kilometers, it was one of the longest in Africa. With no navy or coast guard to protect it, the waters of the Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden were left completely unguarded. Foreign ships quickly realized this. Fishing vessels from Europe and Asia began entering Somali waters illegally. Ships from countries like Italy, Spain, and South Korea caught enormous amounts of fish. Every year, nearly $300 million worth of seafood was taken from Somali waters. But illegal fishing wasn't the worst problem. Some foreign ships began dumping toxic waste along the Somali coast. Coastal communities started getting sick, and children died from contaminated water. With fish disappearing from the ocean, Somali fishermen lost their only source of income. The people who once fed entire villages could no longer catch even a single fish. Their livelihoods were destroyed almost overnight. Angry and desperate, some fishermen decided to fight back. They picked up guns and declared themselves the Somali Coast Guard. Since there was no government to protect their waters, they believed it was their responsibility. At first, they simply stopped foreign ships and demanded fines for illegal fishing, but soon they realized how much money was involved. In 2005, pirates captured a small tanker and demanded about $300,000 in ransom, more money than many of them had ever seen in their lives. Word spread quickly, and piracy exploded along the Somali coast. Small fishing villages like Haradere, Hobyo, and Ale transformed almost overnight. New houses were built, hotels appeared, and luxury cars began driving through what were once quiet coastal towns. Young men saw this and started thinking differently. Why struggle with fishing when carrying an AK-47 could make you rich? Piracy soon became a status symbol. In a region with few opportunities, it offered money, fame, and power. By 2008, Somali piracy had evolved into a full-scale industry. It wasn't just pirates in small boats anymore. Behind them were investors, trainers, informants, translators, and professional negotiators. Wealthy financiers funded pirate missions by paying for boats, engines, fuel, and weapons. In return, they received a share of the ransom. The money was divided almost like company profits, about 50% for the pirates who carried out the attack, 30 to 35% for the investors, and the rest for support teams. Pirates developed simple but effective tactics. They launched fast boats called skiffs from larger motherships stationed far away. Armed with AK-47 rifles and sometimes rocket launchers, they rushed towards slow-moving merchant vessels. A few warning shots were usually enough to force the crew to surrender. Pirates then boarded the ship, forced it to sail towards Somalia, and anchored it near the coast. Hostages were held for months while negotiations took place. Ransoms worth millions of dollars were often paid, sometimes delivered by helicopter, dropping bags of cash onto the ship. Between 2008 and 2011, Somali piracy reached its peak. Pirates attacked around 100 ships every year. At one point in 2011, they were holding about 50 ships and nearly 800 hostages at the same time. The economic impact was enormous. Shipping companies lost billions of dollars, and insurance costs skyrocketed. Many vessels avoided the Gulf of Aden entirely and took longer routes around Africa, increasing travel time and fuel costs. Estimates suggested Somali piracy was costing the global economy between $6 billion and $9 billion every year. Eventually, the world decided to act. Warships from the United States, European countries, NATO, China, India, Russia, and several others were sent to patrol the region. Naval missions such as Operation Ocean Shield and Operation Atalanta escorted merchant ships through dangerous waters. Safe corridors were created where merchant vessels could travel under naval protection. Countries also began sharing intelligence to track pirate activity. Shipping companies introduced another powerful solution: armed security guards. Many ships began carrying former military personnel equipped with licensed weapons. Interestingly, not a single ship with armed guards has ever been successfully hijacked. When pirates approached and saw resistance, they usually turned away, looking instead for easier targets. Ships also installed barbed wire, electric fencing, high-pressure water cannons, and secure panic rooms where crews could hide until help arrived. By 2012, piracy off the Somali coast had dropped dramatically. At the same time, Somalia's new government began cracking down on pirate networks. Local communities also started turning against piracy. People realized that while piracy brought quick money, it also brought drugs, inflation, violence, and foreign military presence. In some villages, families even refused to marry their daughters to pirates. Slowly, public support for piracy disappeared. By 2015, Somali piracy had almost vanished. For several years, no major hijackings occurred. But the story may not be over. In late 2203, Somali pirates reappeared and hijacked another cargo ship. In March 2204, another vessel was attacked. This time, commandos from the Indian Navy MR Coast boarded the ship, rescued the crew, and captured 35 Somali pirates, who were later taken to India for trial. Today, piracy near Somalia has decreased significantly, but the global hotspot has shifted to the Gulf of Guinea. Important routes like the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait remain sensitive areas. If instability returns to Somalia or international patrols weaken, piracy could rise again. Many former pirates, and perhaps a new generation, may still be watching the seas, waiting for the right opportunity. Preventing history from repeating itself remains a major challenge for global shipping and world powers. If vigilance fades, piracy could return once again.